Good morning and welcome to Prakash Vidyalaya, where students love to learn. I am Ramanus Bera, your history teacher, and today we are going to do the third chapter of history. In the earliest cities. You had already learnt in the previous two chapters how people turned from gatherers and hunters to settled community lives, and how there was improvement in the stone implements and tools from one age to other. They learned the art of cultivation, they learned the art of rearing animals, they learned the art of cooking. So gradually we are seeing how they developed, and gradually from there small settled communities to early cities, how it developed. Jaspal and Jasprit were playing cricket in the lane outside their home. They noticed that people had been admiring the dilapidated house or old building that the children called the haunted house. "Look at the architecture," said one of the men. "Have you seen the fine wood carvings?" said another. "We must write to the minister that she makes arrangement to repair and preserve this beautiful house." Why, they wondered, would anybody be interested in the old run-down house? Most of the time when you visit different places during your holidays, in summer, you visit different monuments, historical places, and there you are wondering how these were constructed, how these were built by those kings or those times. This is the architectural greatness of the ancient Indian culture. Now, let us move down how this chapter tells us different stories about different great places that were excavated by archaeologists. The story of Harappa. The archaeologists found the site about 80 years ago. First city to be discovered here, and clay and earthen pots and terracotta findings. Development about 4,700 years ago. It was a great establishment. It was a great achievement of what people had. What was special about these cities? Cities divided into two parts. This Harappan city was divided into two parts as this archaeologist made a study. The smaller but higher part was citadel. The smaller part but raised on a high raised platform was called the citadel, and the larger part was the lower town, and the big vast area was called the lower town. Baked brick walls with interlocking patterns were there. The walls were found in interlocking pattern. The bricks were arranged in interlocking patterns as you find the brick walls today. One was kept in a straight way, the other was kept across, and they were interlocked. If two bricks met at each other, on top of the joint of two bricks there was another brick placed so that it does not have similar joint in the same place. Now, citadel had special building like great bath, storehouse and fire altars. What was found in the citadels? The great bath. It was one of the greatest swimming pools or bathing places of ancient times. Storehouses and fire altars were also found. Great bath was used for special occasion for people to gather around and take their baths, and this was also made in a very hygienic way. There was one inlet of water and another, and there were several outlets where the used water used to flow out, and the inlet used to give in fresh water. Houses, drains and streets were also made in a very scientific way. There were one or two storied houses. Network of covered drains was throughout the settlements. The drains were totally covered throughout the settlements, not open like you find in our place today. Special provisions for cleaning the drains were there, and the houses were built in north-south direction. The lanes were in north-south and east-west direction. So once when the wind swept, it swept all the dirt and dust along the roads. Life in city. Possibly the rulers were looking into planning. They made that city in a very planned way. Scribes prepared the seals. Scribes are the ones who write the manuscripts. They copy the documents. They make the seals. Craftspersons worked in workshops. People undertook long distance travels for raw material, and in order to achieve raw material, people had to travel long distant places. New crafts in the city. There were various new crafts, new craft persons, new professions, new trades also started. Let's see how stone shells, metals, objects throw light on the craftsmanship of these people. All the things that were excavated from these sites give us the idea how these people were having such different knack of talent to create different things. So craftsmanship was given lot of importance. Beads, weights and blades are the unique finds. Beads and seals making was very common. I hope you all know what are beads. Girls wear that malas of beads, plastic beads or stone beads. Evidences of weaving found at Mehergarh. Sorry, beads are also nowadays, I am seeing that even men wear, most of the men are also wearing, I don't know what different kinds of malas they put around their hands. Now, evidence of weaving was found at Mehergarh. Cloth was found. Specialists enjoyed a prominent place, and there were different kinds of specialists. There were different carving persons, the craftsmanship, the carpenters, the blacksmithy, weavers. So we come to know about lot of things from this chapter, that people had knew the art of making all these things in search of raw materials. When people started the craftsmanship, they also started in the search for raw materials. Some raw materials were locally available, but some like copper, tin, gold, silver and precious stones had to be brought from distant lands like Oman, Afghanistan and Iran, which were quite far away from our Indian subcontinent. Food for the people in the cities. People living in countryside grew crops, reared animals. They grew barley, wheat, pulses, peas, rice, sesame, linseed and mustard were the major crops grown by the Harappans. Plough was used for turning soil and planting seeds. So they knew how to till the soil, how to turn the soil. They used ploughs. There are a lot of evidence which show us that there were ploughs used. Provisions for irrigations were made by storing water. So water was one important factor to continue irrigation. Collecting of fruits, fishing and hunting was also practiced. Harappan towns in Gujarat were also found. Most of the places found in Gujarat belong to this Harappan culture. The city of Dholavira had ample of fresh water and fertile soil. Remember the name of the city, Dholavira, which was found in Gujarat. Then city of Lothal stood on the tributary of Sabarmati. It also had ample of availability of raw materials and semi-precious stones. This city had storehouse. Seals and sealings also have been found in places like Lothal. The city had workshop for making beads. So we come to know lot about Harappan cities from these excavated sites of Gujarat. And the mystery of the ant. Major change came about 3,900 years ago. People stopped living in cities. Garbage piled up on the city's streets. Drainage system broke. Varied views came up for the change, like dried up rivers, deforestation, destruction of green cover by overgrazing, floods, rulers lost control, and gradually some new cities emerged 1400 years later. Gradually there was a change, a vast change which was brought about. And now I hope you have understood the main points which were covered in this story. Thank you very much.